Good morning. My name's Sarah. I am an illustrator and designer, and today I'm going to be doing a rebrand design challenge. I'm really excited to take you guys along. I did one of these, I want to say back in September of last year. It was the Fruit Loops, like retro feel redesign, and it's been really popular. I've got a lot of reshares on Instagram and attention, and it's been great that people have really loved it. It was something that I just did out of the blue one day. I woke up and I felt really creative and I thought, I'm going to make a YouTube video and I'm going to redesign a cereal box. Thought it was a really fun challenge, so I am going to do that again today. I posted in my Instagram story to say hi to everyone that was new and that I was going to film a new one today and post it as soon as I can. And my husband responded and suggested that I do Swiss Miss, which I actually think is a really good idea. It has some really cool graphics. It's quite iconic in its imagery. I really like their latest design where they've got the top-down view of the mug with the hot chocolate in it, and the red mug and the blue background. I think it's just really strong. I've come to recognize that as Swiss Miss, like it's really easy to find on the shelves. We'll see how this goes. I haven't started the design yet, but I do think that I'd like to keep that and just freshen it up a bit. I'm really excited to play around with the idea of mountains. I really want to play around with some typography. I think it's all going to be so much fun. So let's dive into that now. Sorry about the lighting. This is the only angle that I can get to work right now. I spent a little bit of time doing some research, doing some scribbles. I have two different concepts that I want to explore, so we're going to jump into Illustrator now and see what we can do with them. I don't really know where to get started, to be honest. It would probably be a good idea to play around with some type. I like the font in the current Swiss Miss logo, but I do think that it's worth at least looking into what else we could do. If anything, I really want to strip back the logo. You can see here that it looks like the most recent packaging has just the typeface with the mountains above it and then the flavor below. But according to Wikipedia, which is a very trusted source of information, this is their current logo. So I would want to strip it back to just the text. I want to get rid of that border and shadow and just have it as like a really strong, solid font. So I might do that, I might not. I'm gonna look at fonts first to see if I can find something similar that I think would work. Let me get some serifs. I've got both Google Fonts and Adobe Fonts with an Adobe subscription, which I have. Adobe Fonts are free, so that's great. Since they bought Typekit way back in the day. And then Google Fonts are also free. So that's a really good resource. I find Google Fonts is really good for client work because you don't have to, like it's a really, oh, that is gorgeous. I don't think this is appropriate for this project, but I just really like this font. So I'm going to download that because it's just pretty. But anyway, what was I saying? I really like Google Fonts for client work because you're able to get some really interesting, really consistent, strong fonts without having to pay for them, and licensing is really easy for clients. I find if I can't find something on Google Fonts, then I usually end up having to get a license for them, which when you're working with small businesses, it's an unexpected fee that they don't really like. Let's see if we can find something cool. The Swiss Miss font is quite particular. Like I'm not really sure if I'll find something similar. Their serifs are really lovely. So once you find a font that you like, you just say select style and you get this little pop-up and you say download. It's really simple. You can use this as like a kind of shopping cart and have lots of different styles in there. And if the font that you choose has multiple different styles within the family, you can choose to download only particular styles, if that's your thing. I love that there's so many S's in this logo type because it's such a beautiful letter form to play with. But it is quite dominating, so I think it's going to be interesting to see how to not make it look too monotone and to kind of get some new shapes in there. I like that one. Yeah, there's so many repetitive letter forms in here. We've got 5 S's, 2 I's, and then a W and an N, which are like inverted letter forms of each other. So it's just repetition city. We'll see how it goes. That's probably the closest that I've seen to it so far, and it's only the S's that are standing out to me. Like I don't like the other letter forms that we've got there. I just like those S's. That could be pretty cool. That's very, very sleek compared to what we've currently got, but it has kind of like Swiss vibes, which is pretty cool. You know when you are working on a project and you look at it for too long and it starts to look like it's written incorrectly? Like you'll see the word apple 6,000 times and then all of a sudden you get to the end of a branding project and you think, holy shit, I've spent 12 hours on this and I spelled apple wrong the whole time. But no, you're just going crazy because you've been staring at the same letter forms for so long that they don't look real anymore. It's really small. Why are you so small? This one's pretty cool. I can see this, yeah, working nicely. This one I wanted to see in thicker sizes. Kind of like that. Alright, so this particular logo goes with the first concept that I had, which is this shape box, keeping the mug concept and using that blue in the background to bring the mountains out through an illustration. I think this is going to be the stronger design just based on how I can see it in my head, but I do also think that it's going to be the less experimental design. I think it's going to be a bit safe, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It is a consumer product. It does need to appeal to passers-by and regular folk. So let's give it a try. Okay, so now I'm just tracing the basic shapes of this and I'm going to use that to create a hot chocolate mug. Okay, so we've got basic shapes for now. I can go in and add detail later, but we've got our hot chocolate, we've got our Swiss Miss. I've changed it from black to like a nice off-white color, which I think will go better once we get the rest of the colors in. I don't want it to be that stark white. Next is the background. So I feel like this has a few too many yellows and oranges in it, and I really want to bring out the blues from this packaging here, but in softer, earthier tones. So now I'm just playing with the colours to see what else I can come up with. I'm worried that these are all tonally too close together. So the issue with the tones being too close is if I were to switch this to black and white. So these two are too close together. You can barely tell them apart. I think if I can get these three further separated, we should be fine. I wasn't planning on having it green, but I do prefer the green tones in all of these. So yeah, that's my first concept. I do think it's worth exploring. I'm just not sure. I'm stumped. I'm not sure what to do. I don't think I'm going to explore my other idea just because I can't see it working all that well. I'm thinking I might drop this into Adobe Fresco as a guide and do some illustration work in there to get that detail in. I'd love to create a real like painterly texture to it. This is the mock-up that I found. I'm going to be using those dimensions instead of the existing Swiss Miss box dimensions, just so they'll look good when it's done, because it's not real so it doesn't matter. So I've opened up Adobe Fresco and I'm going to create a new document. So I'm adding a little bit to the edges so that I have some bleed. Okay, so this box is a slightly different shape. It gives us a bit more height to play with, which I think is kind of fun. I'm going to very quickly just trace over this basic shape. I just had the best idea. Adobe Fresco hasn't released shapes yet, so I'm not able to get a perfect circle. And then I just thought I can use the hard round tool, shape it to get it to the right size, and then just drop a single dot. Yeah, that's such a good idea. Okay, it's about half an hour later. I needed a little bit of a break because, to be honest, it's just way too early in the morning for me. I'm feeling good now, I'm feeling creative. I found another reference image, which got me really excited. So now I'm gonna start rendering out this background. First, I can pull off the style that I'm hoping for. I still haven't decided what I wanna do with the mug. I think that I might like superimpose in the photo off of the existing mug. My only concern is where the logo sits on top of it. It's gonna be missing sections once I put my logo on top of it. So I might need to find another photo reference for that. Or alternatively, I could illustrate it as well. I'm not sure yet. We'll see how this goes. So to get started, I want to block in all of the different shapes. But I'm not going for straight lines. I want this to be mountaintops, so there's obviously lots of different like grooves and nicks and things like that all over the place. So I'm trying not to make my lines too smooth. For the next one, I'll go for a thinner brush. We'll see how that looks. I'm stealing colours from over here just for these first couple because I don't think that my colours are quite right. So this, I think, will be our last mountain, and then I want to do a tree line. Hey, it's a little while later. I walked the dogs, had lunch, went to the post office, and now I'm back. I'm going to dive straight back in. So I think I finished up that illustration. I'm going to export it out back into Illustrator on my laptop. Hey buddy. I'm going to export that back onto my laptop and start adding in all of the extra elements to see how it looks. So this is what the final design is looking like. I ended up taking away the little items that were here. They were additional that I put in. They weren't on the original packaging. I just thought that they'd be a good idea. But once it was all on there, I thought it was a bit crowded and they just didn't sit right. I've quickly dropped it into the mock-up and I think it looks pretty good. So I'm going to do the top and side and see what our final result looks like. And that's it. I'm all done with this project. I hope you liked it. If you have any feedback, make sure that you drop it in the comments below. Hit that like button, hit subscribe for more videos like this, and also let me know what brand you want me to do next. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. Bye!